6, an Arizona couple celebrating 8 decades of love.
To me, she's as beautiful today as she was when I walked into church that night.
Plus, Pima County is showing some love to drivers.
I'm Craig Smith in Northwest Pima County. The county says it's going to make more than 100 miles of road a lot smoother.
And we're diving deep into neighborhood issues that matter to you.
For many people across Tucson, they've seen some changes in their neighborhood over time.
As a neighborhood, we've had to be proactive about this.
Coming up, what the Limberlost Neighborhood Association president says about his neighborhood and his hope for the future.
KGUN 9 News at 6 starts right now.
On air, online, on your side. You're watching KGUN 9 News at 6.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Heidi Alaga. Across Tucson, many neighborhoods are seeing changes. More stores, more apartment buildings, and of course, more people.
9 on your side's Tina Giuliano visiting the Limberlost neighborhood today to talk with the association president about the changes he's seeing in his neighborhood, including an increase of unhoused people in the area.
We're here at the Limberlost Family Park, and I spent the morning talking with the president of the Neighborhood Association about how things have changed over the last few years.
10 to 15 degrees cooler than the outside. Went to Tucson High, graduated from there.
This is the Limberlost neighborhood, where Michael Ray calls home.
Since, 1971.
He's seen it change, new developments, stores, and people.
Then we've seen the 32-acre Home Depot go in. We're surrounded by commercial.
He showed me their latest development.
Traffic along 4th is going to increase.
It's right next to one of the neighborhood fixtures, Limberlost Family Park.
It's really the only way you meet your neighbors. The park has been our major investment of time and energy.
And with these changes, he's seen something else, more unhoused people.
It's exploded, and I think everybody notices it throughout the town.
The Rillito River and local washes, prime spots for people to set up camps. And at one point, a storm drain was filled with mattresses.
And of course, there were a lot of needles, a lot of stuff going down in there. So there are gratings up on that now. That got finished.
He's seen people camping in cars in the park.
It's something we're living with. Millions on it. And I just want to remind people that these are human beings. I don't know what else to say, and I don't know what the way out through this tragedy is.
His hope is that more people join the association to help make improvements.
It takes at least 4 or 5 people coordinating together to get much done.
So it's through compassion and collaboration that the Limberlost neighbors move forward.
And I think I would hope that our neighborhood would continue with that kind of way of operating.
Reporting north of Tucson near Stone and Limberlost Drive, Tina Giuliano, KGUN 9 on your side.
A triple-digit heat can quickly turn deadly if you're not taking the appropriate measures to stay safe.
And given the dangerously warm temperatures, it's important to be able to get heat relief fast. That's why 211 Arizona and APS have come together to offer rides to cooling centers and hydration stations during Arizona's hot summer months.
People just call 211. They hit number 4 for transportation, and the 211 operators can help assess the situation, find out where they are, find out where the nearest cooling site to them is, order a ride from Lyft to pick them up free of charge.
Now, there are cooling stations across Tucson. They're open daily from noon until 4. 211 Arizona also has other heat relief services like helping to pay your utility bills or even get major repairs done to your air conditioning unit depending on your eligibility. All right, let's turn our attention, speaking of heat, to Kyler Diggs.
Yeah, it's been really hot, but we're slowly starting to see a slight chance of relief soon.
Yes, we are. The monsoon is showing signs of kicking into gear, but we had to get through some more record heat today across southern Arizona. Remember, yesterday in Tucson, we set a record high. Well, today, this is kind of crazy. You don't see this very often. Douglas, Nogales, and Safford all tied the record highs for the respective date. 103 in Douglas, 105 in Nogales, and 108 degrees in Safford. So, yes, we tied all the records there, and high temperatures across the rest of southern Arizona. Well, it was 101 in Bisbee, 107 in Green Valley, 110 in Ajo. Another scorching hot day for us. Right now it's 107 degrees in Tucson with 105 in Safford. And as we zoom in on the neighborhoods and around Tucson, most of us are pretty close to 106 to 108 degrees. Excessive heat warnings do continue through the weekend all the way through next Thursday. But as Heidi was mentioning, there's a little sight of hope in there for the monsoon.
All right, Kyler. Well, now to Crime Watch. The owner of a Tucson restaurant under arrest for killing an 18-year-old from Nebraska.
Police say 37-year-old Anthony Ruinard is facing charges in connection to the death of Parker League. Now, League had just graduated high school and had decided to come here to Arizona to visit friends. His body was found June 12th in a bonfire pile in the Tonto National Forest. Now, police say footage from an Arco gas station in Chandler shows League and Ruinard leaving the store together in a black Dodge Charger. League's DNA was later found in the Charger's trunk.
Now, Ruinard is the owner of Pastiche Modern Eatery on Campbell Avenue here in Tucson. The restaurant has been closed for months after a fire. We spoke to a business owner nearby who tells us she was shocked when she found out Ruinard was charged.
The first impressions were super nice. Super nice guy. We had no idea. I had no idea. Never gave off the impression that he could do something so terrible.
Ruinard is facing several charges, including first-degree murder. Tucson police need your help investigating a deadly crash on Tucson's east side. Police say this Honda Civic was seen speeding east on Golf Links Road near Craycroft last Friday night. The driver lost control and drove into oncoming traffic, crashing into an 18-wheeler. The driver of the Civic died at the scene. Detectives are now looking for at least 2 other cars that were seen traveling with the Civic before the crash. If you have any information, you're asked to call 911 or 88-CRIME. A 52-year-old man's under arrest after hitting and killing a pedestrian last month. Deputies say Arturo Gastelum was driving near South Mission Road near Irvington when he hit 80-year-old Nadine Montez. Gastelum ran from the scene. Deputies later identified him as a suspect, and he was booked into the Pima County Jail for leaving the scene of a deadly crash.
There's good news for drivers here in Pima County. In our Operation Safe Roads report, 9 on your side's Craig Smith has more on the county's promise to repair many miles of roads this year.
Have a look at this nice, smooth, new pavement. Pima County says this is in the future for about 100 miles of road in the next year. Pima County has been in a special push to banish bad roads for several years. This map shows the hundreds of miles fixed already. They're in blue on the map. Now the new budget year has the county planning to repair almost 108 miles over the next 12 months. For neighborhood streets, county engineers gather data and work on the worst streets first.
A neighborhood road that's getting fixed is probably, you're going to see a lot of what we call alligator cracking on a lot of those roads, which is just a lot of, you have little tiny square blocks like that pretty much. Other times you'll have it is really gray. A lot of the surface is going to be really rough because it's lost a lot of the fine aggregates on the road.
The repair program sets priorities for larger roads based on size, how busy they are, and whether it makes sense to do preventive work early before the road deteriorates and needs more expensive repairs. The list of roads getting repairs is too long to read here. You can find it linked to our web story on KGUN9.com. In Pima County near Shannon and McGee, Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
And now to the Grand Canyon, which is set to get more than $27 million in federal highway money to upgrade its fleet of shuttle buses. The replacement project includes 20 buses that run on compressed natural gas and 10 electric buses. Charging stations will also be installed. Officials say the new buses are expected to reduce pollution and ease the overcrowding of cars at the park. A couple in Arizona is about to hit a major milestone.
We take a walk down memory lane as these lovebirds prepare to celebrate, get this, 80 years of marriage. We've got their story coming up next right here on KGUN 9.
It truly is a romance for the ages. An Arizona couple getting ready to celebrate 80 years of marriage.
Scripps News Phoenix reporter Cameron Palome spoke to the Tempe couple and shares more on their love story.
Taking a walk down memory lane Thursday.
Oh, that brings me sight.
Fred and Jocelyn Handy are set to celebrate a love for the ages.
Love at first sight, don't tell me it doesn't exist.
Always the romantic, the 99-year-old, of course, talking about his 98-year-old wife, Jocelyn. Their story started as teenagers, a smitten young man hoping to land a date with a beautiful girl from church.
Well, he was polite, and he was fun to be with. We had a good time always, but we were all with a big group. So, and I never had a boyfriend really before.
I mustered up the courage to ask her for a date.
They went to the movies and dinner, and lucky for Fred, he earned a second one.
He kind of grew on me.
By 1943, World War II was underway. Fred joining the Coast Guard following graduation, eager to serve his country. But of course, he was now in love.
Well, just before I was going to ship out, we decided to get married.
Oh, I'm worried, yes, but didn't do any good.
When the war ended, like so many troops of the time, Fred triumphantly returned home, beginning a life that would see them raise 3 children and welcome 4 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. Nights of dancing and Halloween costumes, and in the blink of an eye, 80 years has passed with very few complaints.
He was ornery sometimes, but that's, if you can't get away with that, why, you're not very good for each other anyway.
To me, she's as beautiful today as she was when I walked into church that night.
This weekend, the couple celebrates their 80th anniversary. Their daughter, Lori, and others by their side.
They are the epitome of what the word love means.
When it comes to these two, it's tough to argue that.
We do give thanks to God that He's allowed us to literally grow old and grow old together.
For Uplifting Arizona, I'm Cameron Polam, ABC 15.
80 years.
80
That's the
years.
kind of love everybody wants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was ornery sometimes, but that's okay. Their love made it through.
I'm really simple. I'm just like her. She said, as long as you guys can have fun together. I feel like that's such an important quality.
I think they're still having fun by the looks of that.
Don't take each other too seriously.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta say, my wife and I, we started our 25th year, so we got a ways to go to catch up to them.
But that's still a big achievement.
That's good.
I will
It's a
say.
milestone.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, really happy about that. Happy about this too, because we actually see a sign of monsoon activity out there. Few clouds, and they're going to increase. We'll show you in the forecast when we return to KGUN 9.
First Warning Weather is sponsored by D&H Air Conditioning and Heating.
Now, your First Warning Weather with Kyler Diggs.
Here's the numbers coming to us from the Tucson International Airport, where it was another hot July day. 110 degrees, but the record was 111, so we stayed just below it. That happened back in 2017. But check out that overnight low. Wow, we had a little moisture come in last night, and when you get that, it prevents those temperatures from dropping quite as much at night. So 82 is where we started out this morning. 101 and 76 are the averages. 107 right now at the airport in Tucson. 43 degrees on the dew point with 12% humidity. We held on to those dew points in the 40s today, much like we did yesterday. So a little indication that moisture is trying to increase very slowly but surely. And temperatures tonight, it's going to be another hot evening. 90 degrees still at midnight. Let's go to the radar and satellite picture that shows it really well. The setup, high pressure has now moved over the Big Bend area of Texas, which is in a favorable position to swing some moisture over southern Arizona. Let's go to the water vapor imagery that shows, remember, the orange shades, red shades, that's dry air. But as I was showing this at 5 o'clock, I wanted to share it with you here at 6 o'clock too. For those who have missed it, there's the moisture right there starting to erode that dry air and take over a little bit. Dew points, we need them from the mid 50s on up, and we're actually going to see some of that happening as we go through the weekend. Check it out, upper 50s and even some lower 60s coming in here as we go into Sunday morning. And the good thing is, a lot of times you'll see those climb quite a bit at night and then drop way off in the afternoon. That's not going to happen over the next few days. We're actually going to be able to maintain those good dew point levels into the afternoon hours. And as we take a look at the precipitation forecast tomorrow, isolated thunderstorms over Cochise County, and then some of that moisture drifts a little farther west on Sunday to even put Tucson, Oracle, Nogales, Rio Rico into the thunderstorm picture. Now, before you get too excited, this will be isolated thunderstorm activity, but at least we are seeing a positive sign here for monsoon to get going. And this is going to continue into the middle of next week. So lots of good signs here. 70s for overnight lows tonight in the lower elevations. We'll still see some 60s in the higher elevations, but many of us tonight won't even drop below 80 degrees. And then for tomorrow and beyond, we will continue to see these high temperatures running pretty close to 110 degrees in Tucson and vicinity. In Sierra Vista, we will see the low 100s continuing, but the best news about that 7-day is showers and thunderstorms.
All right, Kyler, thank you. Well, at least we're getting a slight chance of monsoon
and that's great. Hopefully it materializes.
Well, next, a behind-the-scenes look at Tucson's professional team.
Yeah, why one Sugar Skulls player is receiving a little extra coaching following practice. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side sports with Jason Barr.
WNBA Friday Night Spotlight on sister station ION TV. Elsie Plum, Becky Hack, 15-1 Las Vegas at Dallas. First quarter, the Aces down by 3. It's Plum from long range. Adia Barnes coached her in Washington. Las Vegas was down 2 and Candace Parker nailed a three-pointer. And at last check, Las Vegas opened up a third quarter 7-point lead. Well, if copying is the most sincere form of flattery, then HBO can be flattered. Instead of Hard Knocks, we present to you Desert Blocks. I went behind the camera this week for a unique look at the Tucson Sugar Skulls.
Unbelievable. The last place team in the division comes in here. You're playing for a playoff spot, and somehow you let them walk away with a win.
That's the speech. Everything we want is still in front of us.
When you take them tough losses like that, you have to digest them and move on fast as possible, actually.
Outside at practice, it's 100 degrees. But afterwards, wide receiver Darian Patterson and lineman Dominion Ezenwa enjoy the cool tub. This, as head coach Curtis Chin has some finalizing to do.
Right now, we're just trying to get together with the 25-man roster for the game.
Do you want me to swim outside and keep going?
Among the players who will suit up this week at Duke City is 6'6" defensive lineman Dylan Cousins.
Yeah, he'll call that.
Cousins never played college football. He's a former professional baseball player who left the diamond for the gridiron to chase his dream of one day playing in the NFL.
Joined the team 2 games ago in the run for the playoffs. It's been a lot of fun. I hadn't ever even watched an indoor football game before this, and now I catch myself just watching other teams' games.
He has a good teacher.
But if I'm out here, I can see everything, what he does.
Assistant coach Xavier Jackson is about to be inducted into the Indoor Football League Hall of Fame.
He just has to get acclimated to this game, this indoor game. Once he do that, he's going to be something to reckon with.
There are 2 games left in the regular season. A Sugar Skulls win this week at Duke City would clinch a playoff spot.
I don't want to be one of the teams that has to wait till the last game of the season to try to get in the playoffs. I want to be solidified, and I want to come back to the home crowd already in the playoffs, playing well, going into the playoff with some steam.
Yeah, it's fun to see the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I love it. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It was great stuff, and we got a new guy to root for, and hopefully he makes an impact.
What an interesting story he has, too.
I like how everyone sounds so hyped.
Hey, listen, you got to be enthusiastic, and you got to put a lot of energy out there if you're going to practice at 100-something degree heat.
That's very right, true. And they need one win to get in. So, all right, Jason, thank you. Kyler, back with that weekend forecast next.
You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
It's not your typical police chase, and these are not your usual suspects. Glendale police officers called in to wrangle 2 goats on the loose.
The second they saw officers, the goats bolted, and as you can see, Officer Trevino was a man on a mission, wrangling both of them to safety. So now the big question is, who are the real goats in this situation?
Let's go! Just went after it full force. I wasn't gonna stop until I caught that goat.
Would you call yourself a goat now?
I guess, you know what? Yeah, I guess there is only one in Glendale, right?
The Glendale goat, the greatest of all time, because he's the greatest goat wrangler in Glendale of all time.
So committed. I mean, just the video is so funny to watch.
Charles up there, let's go, we got him.
Well, it'd be really tough
Love
to
it.
chase a goat in this heat.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, work up a sweat in a hurry, and we're going to continue that trend on through the weekend, all the way through next week. Remember, the excessive heat warnings remain in effect. Continue to take those precautions against this extreme heat. But the good news is we've got a little slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in there. The best chance will be around Cochise County tomorrow, and then the rest of us get in on the action as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yeah, we always say it's got to start there down in Cochise
Sure
County
does.
and build its way up here. Looking good. Thank you, Kyler.
Well, thank you for joining us.
See you back here at 10.